Hi, welcome back to the channel. We're here again with a new video, and this time, as you can see, I want to talk about the 15-minute cities or the smart cities. I just think this is so interesting, so I just want to talk about it with you. So I thank you for coming by, especially the new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me. And here to New Life, I'm trying to feel my way and find my way. So I hope you will give me grace as I continue to try to find my place on this platform. But right now, I have a focus in on some things that are happening in the world, and I just want to talk to you about it. So before we get started, if you would please subscribe, hit the post notification bell, hit the thumbs up bell, share the video, leave a comment, all of that good stuff, and I would appreciate it. So let's get started. So I've written my notes so that I could kind of stay focused, because it's hard for me to remember things, or what I want to talk about is what I want to stay on point if possible. So just bear with me. So we're going to talk about the 15-minute cities, and there's some National Guards coming to cities on the East Coast right now. And I had to say, why are they calling National Guards in? This is up in the North and East Coast. National Guards are getting called in. I just think that's interesting, and I don't know if you've heard anything about it, but here we are. So let's talk about Canada. All right. So they are rezoning the city of Toronto with huge buildings with about 600 spaces at the top for residential living, and in the bottom middle are offices and retail for shopping. Okay, and there's very little parking spaces. So what the plan is, 600 units at the top of this high-rise building, office, shopping, retail at the middle and lower parts of the building. So whatever you need to do will be within this building. So you don't have to go outside. They might have a atrium place where there's a park, or looking like outdoor spaces where you can exercise and look outside. But everything is supposed to be done inside this building. Okay, everything you need will be inside this building. There will be no need for you to leave this building. And if you did have to leave, you might have to have permission when it's all said and done. This is allegedly, at this point I'm not sure, but I'm just thinking this is what's going to happen. But since there's very few parking spaces, 600, at a single family house, most people have 2 or 3 cars. Some people I know have 2 to 3 cars, and it's just them. Okay, so when there's families involved, there's 3, 4 cars. So to eliminate the small amount of parking spaces for 600 units seems a little strange, except they're thinking you're not going to be able to go too far, because these 15-minute cities, everything will be within 15 minutes. Okay, so you won't need a car. All of your medical and pharmacy needs should be right there in your building. Okay, and it's called a mixed-use development. A mixed-use development. These areas are also called districts. I want you to keep that in mind, because later on we might talk about how they've carved out the world into 10 districts. Just keep that in mind. So if you think this is a cool way to live, I'm thinking then welcome to the 4th Industrial Revolution. If you think this is cool. When I was young, I used to think living in a high-rise was the coolest thing, except when I got caught up in a building and a fire alarm went off, and my girlfriend and I was visiting this guy, and we ran down the steps. I think we were on the 12th or 14th floor or something crazy. It was high. It was in Southeast DC, and we ran all the way down those steps. By the time we got to the bottom, huffing and puffing, nobody was out of the building but us. These people were so used to the alarms just going off that even the guy, when we got back upstairs, he was still sitting there with his door open, looking at us like we were the ones that was crazy. Then I had seen that movie, The Towering Inferno. You got to go back. Nobody talks about that movie, but It was a movie called The Towering Inferno. Go back and see if you can find it on YouTube. And that also scared me. But the fact that the people were in the building were so used to it that they just ignored it. So what happens if the building was on fire? I don't know. I think it's insane to me. I don't want to live in lockdown. I don't want to live in that kind of lockdown where everything is. I mean, I know it's convenient, but I don't always like convenience. I choose a country living style because convenience is not necessary for me. Okay, I just think that's something. But anyway, let me go on because see, I'm rambling. Others around the world are making these smart cities as well. And listen, let me tell you about a few of them. Smart cities: Singapore, London, Copenhagen, and Hong Kong. That's just to name a few. There are reported 140 in the world, okay? And this is the future. They're saying this is the future. 70% of the world's population is expected to live in smart cities by 2050, according to the UN. Singapore has the most in the world right now. Now, I would like to visit Singapore. That's just one of those places in the world that I want to visit because Singapore was considered third world, down in the dumps, and it has soared into the fourth industrial revolution, the smart city. It's amazing what has happened in Singapore. So if a place that was at the bottom could rise up like this, that's not a place I would want to live. It's just a place I would like to visit. But anyway, Bill Gates has listen to this, y'all. Bill Gates has a subsidiary investment firm, has bought land in southwestern Arizona for the construction of around 10,000 hectare development consisting of residences, public schools and office, commercial and retail spaces. Arizona Central reported. What is this man doing? Developing his own city, place that he won't even live in? What is this? It seems 11 billionaires are also trying to build their own utopias. So this, with all this money grab or land grab that's happening, this might be what they're all aiming for. So now the fires, let's talk about that. The fires that are going on in America. Did you know, or have you seen or heard this? So let's see. I'm going to give you the number of fires that are going on and the places where they're happening. There are 35 fires in California, 289 in Texas, 22 in Montana, 23 in Washington State, 22 in Arizona, 2 in New Jersey, 14 in New Mexico, 16 in Colorado, 27 in Oregon, 9 in Idaho, 1 in Florida, 4 in Mississippi, 3 in Nevada, 2 in Wyoming, and 10 in Oklahoma. There could be more. That's all I could find. You might think, well, fires go on all the time, and not a lot of times you hear about them, but this is not usual. I mean, we're having all these train derailments. Now we're having all these food factories exploding and catching on fire. Now we're having all these fires. Excuse me. I think this is something we need to think about. Okay, let me tell you this. Why I'm mentioning the fires is because where all these states where there's fires, smart cities are coming. You know, I keep telling y'all that their slogan is build back better. Well, in order that you build back better means something has to be torn down. So if we burn it down, then we build it back, and we'll build it back better. We'll build it back smart. Austin, Texas has a smart city initiative. Washington has a smart city bill in Congress. Scottsdale, Arizona has a smart city bill coming up or on the books. Smart City Working Group in New Jersey, Portland, Oregon, Orlando, Florida, Mississippi. All these states where there are fires have places for smart cities in and around where those fires are. I don't think this is a coincidence, y'all. Do you think it has anything to do with their agenda? To accomplish this, lots and lots of people will have to be eliminated, moved away. Look at Lahaina. Those people are being moved out of their area. That's their own private land. These indigenous people own this land before we came in and did whatever we did to get to acquire Hawaii. I don't know. But those people own their land in Lahaina. And it's just interesting that the millionaires and billionaires that have land there, strangely how they've acquired so much land there. And those people don't want to sell their property. And so I saw a video where I think it was the mayor saying, don't ask these people about selling their land. Don't contact them. First of all, the people are in mourning because of the loss of their family members and their children and their children's children. Come on. These people want to move back home. They don't want to be homeless. They don't want to hear some rich person come in and say, I'll buy your land. And it all sounds good, y'all, when somebody's coming for land that they know is valuable and they're offering you a few $100,000, which is nothing for corporations and what you call those private, I can't think of the names of them now, but that's, when I think about it, I'm going to say it because that's what that Rock and Oprah talking about, getting money back or trying to get money from you and me for this project, and yet they want to say it's going to go to these people, but there's a private corporation that's running and funding this. So those people are all going to be paid from this money. So yeah, what's going to go directly to the people's hand won't be what you give, because that private nonprofit, that's what it is, a nonprofit that's running that thing is going to pay all those people at the nonprofit all of this, and then what's left, the people will go directly to the people's hands, and you won't know that your $1,000 or your $10,000 or your $500 or your $50 is going to be paying those people. And those the people of Lahaina will get a little bit, even though she says it'll go right in their hands, but it's not all of it won't be going in their hands. So you got to think about this when these celebrities are coming out. They should be talking to their celebrity friends. That video that she and Rock did should have been to all of her celebrity friends, political friends. I don't even want to say anymore. That's just upsetting to think that these people are using this tragedy for their own selfish gain. So listen to this, y'all. I saw another video about Saudi Arabia planning a smart city, and they call it The Line. You go online, you know what, if I can find it, I'll put it down. If not in the description, I'll put it in the comment section if I can find it. And I'm sure I will be able. I'll put it in the comment section for you to see if I can't put it in the description. But it'll be below. It's called The Line, okay? It will house 9 million. This is purported, okay? Whether or not this will take, you know those Saudis got money. They could do a thing if they wanted to. So anyway, it's going to house 9 million residents. It will be 34 square kilometers, which is 13 miles. I think that's right. I tried to convert kilometers because I don't know kilometers. 500 square feet, or 194 miles tall, which is taller than the Empire State Building. 200 kilometers wide, which is 77 miles wide. And it will be 170 kilometers long, which is 66 miles long. All designed in a perfectly straight line. That's why they're calling it The Line. It will be mirrored in a glass facade. Residents will have access to all their needs in a 5-minute walk. So whatever you need, groceries, pharmacy, park, whatever, 5-minute walk inside this building. Okay, any travel within the city will take no more than 20 minutes from start to finish without the need of a car. Therefore, they're saying zero carbon. So that means if you want to travel the length, you want to go visit somebody in I think there's a section off in, I'm not going to say, I forget what those little cubicles. This section here is a town. This section. So if you want to visit somebody at the end of the line, it will not take you from leaving your house to get to the end by rail 20 minutes. In this 20 minutes travel time from. Ooh, this stuff is crazy, y'all. All right, I saw this also. The UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Okay, this is what all of this planning of smart cities, 15-minute cities, has to do with the UN Agenda for Sustainable Development. Yet it makes no mention of the lockdowns or keeping people in their neighborhoods. If you go back and look at those goals, they don't talk about lockdowns. But you tell me, if you go see that video and you think about someone living in a high-rise building and everything you need is inside that building, you're going to be, what is the purpose of you coming out? What's the purpose? Maybe your family members will be somewhere on the floor. You all get your family to live in the building together, create your own neighborhoods that way. But to go out, the agenda doesn't talk about lockdowns, but that's what I see in these buildings, these smart cities. Looks like a lockdown to me. Rather than 15-minute cities are in an underhanded way of achieving the goals of making transit, jobs, healthcare, parks, and all other amenities we come to expect from living in city living accessible to all residents within a 15-minute walk or bike ride. I think this is a code for them to institute climate change lockdowns. Well, you decide if that's what it is. That's just how I see it, okay? So I think with this, I want you to remember one thing. Stay vigilant. Don't just listen to the regular news. Keep your eyes and ears open to what's going on, because this will affect you and your children and even your children's children. Keep your eyes on the one who can answer all of your questions, okay? And whatever you do, don't put your trust in man or his system, because remember, the beast is rising. You don't want to be deceived. You don't want his mark, his number, or his name in you, because that's what Revelation talks about. We always talk about the mark of the beast, but it said don't receive his mark, his number, or his name. So there's going to be different ways he's going to come at you. And remember, Yeshua told us, don't let any man deceive you. Don't let any man deceive you. Stay in the word. If you don't understand, pray much, okay, for the Spirit of the Most High Yah to give you understanding. Yahuwah is sealing his people in these last days. He's sealing the people of his that are his, to let the world know that these are mine, and they are going to stand firm for me and with me. Okay, they will put nothing inside this body temple to defile their temple, because this temple belongs to his spirit to dwell in us, and we do all things to glorify his holy name. But while that's being the case, Satan is on the other side marking his people. Okay, while Yah is sealing his people, Satan is marking his. Which will you be? Which will you choose? That's the key question here. As we see these smart cities coming, we see these 15-minute cities coming, we see the Agenda 21, we see the 2030 Agenda, all of these sustainable development, whatever's going on, Fourth Industrial Revolution, whatever you hear, these are key words to what's going on. But they're going to cry peace and safety, but utter destruction will come. This is not a good place. You know, it's not a thing to be fearful, but it's a thing to be mindful, okay? I just want you to be mindful of what's going on. So just wanted to talk to you about that. If you hadn't heard about it, I want you to open up your eyes and ears now. You'll be listening to it when you read some article. Think about smart cities, 15-minute cities, sustainable development, those words, okay? These are key words I want you to think about. A permanent lockdown of the world if they have their way. I trust in Yah, and I trust in his son. So I'm praying that you will do the same. So I hope you got a little bit from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. But until we meet again in the next video, I want the grace and peace of God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ be with you all. Until we meet again. All right, shalom.